Howdy y'all.
Hi guys.
It's Ryan.
And Angela.
From ASKRNA Music.
That's right, I represented.
You did. I'm not wearing an ASKRNA Music shirt.
No, you're not. But
This will make sense later.
It will.
Your favorite mom and pop guitar shop and music lesson studio, Deep in the heart of Texas. This is where we're at.
That's right.
And it's time for episode, what is it? 402.
Woo!
Episode 402.
Yeah.
2 weeks behind when it should go out.
So 2 weeks and 4 weeks into the month and 2 episodes later.
Yeah, 2 episodes. Episode 402 of ASKRNA. Right now. Let's go. So excited. Beard. Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Angela.
And we have a little guitar shop, music shop, lesson studio predominantly.
Phenomenal.
Very small town, East Texas. We teach music lessons all week long, and we sell stuff and things sometimes.
Some of the times, yes.
And we have a YouTube channel.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
A little fuzzy foo on our face.
I think I have a lot of fuzzy on my face.
Yeah, but I think it was beanie fuzzy.
A bit beanie fuzzy. A particular kind of fuzzy.
Fuzzy.
On my face.
Yeah.
All right, and this is one of the videos we do is answering questions from people all over the world, because apparently 8 billion people have questions.
I know.
About all kinds of things.
Crazy.
And we get to answer some of those.
Yes, and I love it.
I do too. If you want some swaggity swag, we do have a little swag store. Link in description. You can go get a little t-shirt. You know, from a small business. If you want to do that, you can. And I think they're fun.
I do too.
We got a Phoenix tee, which I like.
Yeah. I like the Phoenix.
Go do that if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And now we're going to answer some questions. Let's go right to it. All right, first question. Sinner's Dwarf 7138. Who's from England?
Okay.
Shire.
Yeah.
It says, as it's episode 401, please explain what the 401k is. Oh, I see. What is a 401k, Angela?
I have no earthly idea.
Okay.
I know it's about investment, retirement, and like future something money.
Things.
That you can do through job, but you can also do it outside your job because some investment companies have. Yeah.
Well, Sinner's Dwarf is from England.
Right.
And
they don't have 401k?
They don't have 401ks. No. It's different. They have socialism.
Oh.
I don't know what they have.
No,
I don't think they have healthcare.
Yes.
And they have...
It might be somewhat socialized.
They have the dole.
Yeah.
Was it the dole when you're unemployed? They give you some money for not working?
Right.
I don't know. I'm not from England. All right. 401k is an American thing.
Yes.
I
just found that out.
It's basically a pension retirement type account that is set up by employers.
Yes.
So the company you work for, some companies, not every company, but some companies offer a 401k plan, which is they deduct money from your paycheck pre-tax. So that's a nice thing. So a certain amount of money you can set to come out of your paycheck, whether you get paid weekly or every 2 weeks or once a month. They'll take that money out, set it into an investment account. And a lot of times your company that you work for will match that amount. So if there's, you know...
Up to 401,000.
No.
Oh, no.
It's like a percentage. Usually it's like a bit like 50.
It would make sense.
Up to, I think it's 15% or maybe it's 30%. I can't remember. I had a 401k when I worked at Select Comfort years ago. So the company will match. So
I had a 401k at the hospital.
Oh yeah, that's right. You know, up to a certain dollar amount, like, you know, if you have $100 coming out of your monthly check, the company will match that $100 up to a certain percentage for the year. So they call it, it's free money. Kind of. Sort of. Yeah. But yeah, it's basically a retirement account, because in America, we do have something called Social Security, which is where the government automatically steals money, takes money out of your paycheck and sets it in a fund that once you reach a certain age,
you get only a portion of it.
You get a fraction of that money back.
Maybe like 2%.
Yeah. At 65, I think at 65 you can draw it. It's better if you wait till 60. The older you are before you draw it, the more you'll get.
Yeah.
But the less time you'll have to spend it before you die.
Nikki Haley wants to raise it.
Oh, okay.
The retirement age. Not 65, make it 70.
Well, that's why you just get independently wealthy and retire whenever the F you wanted.
And she was like, you were talking to the wrong generation. Because millennials and Z's are like, heck no, I have to work longer before I get my money back.
Right.
Yeah, no.
You got to read the room, Nikki.
That's not happening. You could have done that to our parents' generation, maybe, depending on what generation.
But a lot of them are still working.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. Because
anyways,
Social Security does
Social
not work.
Security was never meant to be a retirement package. It was just supposed to be a supplement. You're not supposed to retire at 65 and live off your Social Security payment, which is bankrupted. So it's on you. You are supposed to take care of your own retirement package.
Yes.
But 401k is an option through an employer to basically it's investing.
Cushion for your retirement.
And the company you work for will match it up to a certain point. Now, the problem I think nowadays is nobody works for the same company for 30 years. Now, you can, when you leave a company or you get fired from a company, you know, you keep your 401k and you keep the money that's invested. And I think if you go to another company that has a 401k, it can move over with you.
Right, because it really is a national thing.
Yeah.
Versus independent 401ks owned by independent companies.
Right.
Right.
So it's just a way to invest for retirement through the company you work for versus on your own going to a broker and buying mutual funds and stocks and bonds and things, which you should be doing probably. But yeah, we don't have one. We're self-employed. It's a whole other ball of wax. But yeah, it's just a way to invest for retirement through your business. And y'all don't have that. I'm curious. What do you do in England when you want to retire? Does the government give you money? Do you have to invest? Surely there's a thing.
And what's it called?
Yeah. Great question. All right. Thank you, Sinister Dwarf. Anybody got a 401k? Tell us down below. Do you have one? Do you not have one? How much does your company match? That'd be interesting to know. You don't have to tell us your company, but you know. Do you have it?
It's just the yes or no part of it.
Yes or no.
Right.
Next question. Just Fun Guitar 1500, also from England, also doesn't have a 401k. It says cello for Angela. Hashtag cello for Angela. Yes. I have targets like yours, which are not really about the new year, but more carrying on with my goals for my path. New question. RNA. What is the most insightful guitar music you are looking forward to in 2024? That's a good question. I obviously saw this question when I typed it out for the page of questions, and that was yesterday, and I've completely forgotten what I was thinking. Guitar music I'm looking forward to in 24. Oh, well,
I like the word insightful.
Insightful. Insightful. Well, it's CIT. Are you going to incite a riot? It's going to incite some emotions. Or insight. SIGHT. Like, ooh, like. I don't know who all is coming out with music this year, but the first thing that popped to mind was Jeff Loomis has left Arch Enemy or was fired from Arch Enemy. I don't know. They parted ways. And I'm excited about that because I didn't like I'm not an Arch Enemy fan. It's that metal band with the girl singer who's like, bleh.
Sure.
Yeah, female bleh, cookie monsters. Just like, okay,
I believe you.
You know, all right. Jeff was super underutilized in that band. He'd been with them for like 8 or 9 years.
I can see that.
Yeah, because he's like, bro, like the greatest metal guitar player on the planet, and you.
They probably didn't want a Zakk Sabbath moment.
Zakk
constantly.
It wouldn't have been. It would have been great. He's so good. So I hope I think he has something brewing that with some guys. So he's probably pursuing the solo route thing or a new musical avenue where he really gets to actually do what he does. Like the thing he did with Keith Merrow was now like years ago, Conquering Dystopia, which is just like the best thing ever because it was the metal, super difficult, technical drumming, bass playing, all the stuff. It's just like, how do you guys even do that? But no vocals. So there were no cookie monsters to ruin Conquering Dystopia because I don't super love the cookie monsters. But so I think I'm really interested to see what Jeff Loomis comes up with for this year because he is one of my favorite guitar players that I've only been into for maybe like 10 or 13 years. Well, it's been a while, but it's not like I was into. Not
too long after we opened the store, I think you.
Yes, really it was like kind of right around 2010, 2011 when I was like, "Who's Jeff Loomis? Oh, he's a Schecter artist. Let me check him out." I'm like, "Holy smokes!"
Yeah.
But he'd been doing things, you know, for a while.
Stuff and things.
He had a band, Nevermore, that was where he really got his start, and they put out a bunch of records. And I never really knew about them. So I first really discovered Jeff on his first solo record. And then he had a second solo record, which is amazing. And then he did an instrumental shred thing with Keith Merrow, and like that. And I've had to go after that to go back and kind of, well, let me go check out the Nevermore stuff. There's actually vocals, and it's not Cookie Monsters. It's actually singing, heavy music, but with, you know, melodic singing, which was it was enjoyable. But like, you know, the instrumental stuff was all about the, let me just show you what I can do.
Right.
So probably for me, that's the most interesting thing, to see what happens with that. That was the immediate, because I don't remember who else is coming out with records this year.
I have no vibe on that at all.
Guitar, in the guitar universe of who's doing things.
My ear is not to the ground on that.
Yeah, I mean, Metallica already came out with a record, so they're probably not going to come out with another one for a while. I didn't necessarily like love their newest record. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's all right. It's like their last 5 or 6 record or 7 records has been like, yeah, there's like 1 or 2 songs on the record. I'm like, okay, I like that song.
I can get into that. Right.
I like that one song. That one song.
Right.
It's pretty great.
Sure. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Great. Sure.
And I don't think Opeth is doing anything. Opeth was the newest band that I went. That was like 2 years ago. The night might have been 3 years ago. Anyway, their last record, I bought that. I was like, I like this. This is that was very different, because they're more like a 70s prog band
right
now versus a Swedish death metal band
right
that they started out. But I like them. So I had some kids this week. They're like, hey, can you show me what this song is? I'm like, yeah, let's look it up. And I'm like, whoa, I kind of like this. This is kind of, it was somebody I never heard of. Like, I couldn't tell you the name right now. I'll have to.
Yeah.
So go look it up.
There was actually a guy that one of my vocalists brought to my attention. Apparently he's been around for a while, but I am not into anything. Benson Boone.
Benson Boone.
That's him. He's a young guy, I guess.
Apparently.
But I like his style of music. He has a great, like, he just has a good, like, wholesome songs.
Yeah.
Love songs and stuff like that. I like his voice. So Benson Boone is a new artist that I'm kind of like, it's on my list of people that I'm like, I really need to start listening to more stuff like that. I like it.
Yeah. I cannot even remember what, but it was funny because one of my students, like at the end of the lesson, was like, hey, can you show me this real quick? I was like, we literally just finished. I'm like, well, let me listen to it real quick. I'm like, I was like, I don't have time to explain this and show you this song, but remind me next week and we'll check it out. Yeah. And then the very next student who walked in, like, saw the little tab open on my computer, was like, oh, were you looking at blah, 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 blah? I'm like, yeah. They're like, I like them. I'm like, really? Okay.
Out of the loop.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now I remember who. I can see the video in my mind now of who it was. I can't remember the name, but it was actually a pretty easy song. It was only like 2 chords, but they were like jazz chords. It was an E major 7 to an A major 9 flat 5 chord. So it was like sort of jazzy chords, but they weren't playing jazz. But it was legit, just those 2 chords over and over. I'm like, oh,
nice.
That is actually super easy. And they're playing electric guitars. It was not heavy stuff, but it was like, it was kind of rocking, but it was interesting. I'll find it. I'll play it for you.
Okay, cool.
And I was like, cool. I kind of like this. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about teaching, is because I do have a lot of kids, which is great, who want to learn Led Zeppelin and Nirvana and Black Sabbath and Metallica and, like, you know,
Taylor Swift.
Well, I'm talking about good music.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you have a lot of kids.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of kids who want to learn sort of the classics, AC/DC,
all around,
Guns N' Roses.
Right.
You know, when it comes to the rock stuff. And, like, I'm not forcing that stuff on them. They want to learn it. And I'm like, yeah.
Let's do this.
Let's go. But every now and then they'll ask me about something new, that like the Crane Wives. Like, I'd never heard of them until you had some students who were doing it. And I was like, wow, I kind of like them. So that is, I guess, one of the perks of teaching is, like, you know, I get introduced to some new music here and there. That I'm like, wow, this is actually
I always get introduced to new music, but half the time I'm just like, no. Stop it.
I got one student who
Don't do that to
wants
me.
to learn. She's been learning a Gojira song, which I know who they are because I'm into metal, but I never really listened to them. Like, let me go listen to a bunch of their songs and check them out. I just know who they are, and they have custom guitars and stuff. And
Right.
like, Caroline, I want to learn this on guitar. I'm like, yeah, let me check it out. And it's from an album like 3 or 4 or 5 albums back, and I got to like, I really like this. Oh, this is catchy. And he's very, it's not like singy stuff. It's screamy stuff. But I'm like, not so bad that I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I kind of like, but they're a band that's been around for a long time. So, anyways, Jeff Loomis,
There you
for
go.
me. All right, thank you, Just Fine Guitar. Next question, Big John 75 from Texas. Big Texas John. Hashtag cello for Angela. Hashtag ukulele for Angela. And bonus points for Big John. Howdy, guys. Hey, Angela. Are you going to make Ryan a dreadlock beanie like Billy Gibbons?
Yes. Yes.
When?
Of course. Very soon. Hopefully soon. I need to get the right color.
Yeah, you gotta.
I have to, in the right texture of yarn. Because it's not just yarn.
Yeah,
It has
it's,
like a fuzz to it. It's like a felty, fuzzy yarn. So it's more like, it has to be a certain way of doing it.
It can't just be like, I made a crochet version of this.
Right.
I forget. It's a certain kind of, I forget what it's called.
Like mohair.
Yeah, I mean, it's from Africa. It's a an African nudu, Nudu hat.
Yeah.
Oh, you can buy one on Etsy for $90.
Of course you can.
See, that one looks like it's crocheted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's obviously crocheted.
Yeah, they did. But his is more.
But that's
like,
actually his. That's actually not.
Right. It's just like strips. I mean, they are knitted. They're
Right,
like
it's
knitted tubes.
Woven together.
Yeah.
Woven tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you see, that guy has a crochet one.
Right.
Like, it's obviously crochet, where his is.
Right. His is knitted. It is just knitted in tubey form, and then probably been sewn to the next one, and then sewn
you
to the
can't
next
really.
one.
I mean, you can't even really see the weave until you like really zoom in on it. That's because I was like, what is it?
Yeah.
Well, you are a yarn expert, so yeah. Thank you. I'm so excited. Are we gonna have a little cloth thing under it, and we're gonna wear the?
Well, just depends on what you want to do.
Over. It's gotta be authentic.
We'll design it.
It's gotta be authentic.
And make sure it's exactly the cut, because it almost looks like he has a man's tie underneath as the band.
I wonder if that's part of the hat, or if that's just something he wears under it.
Yeah, maybe.
Or if it's probably part of the hat.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, probably so, because news time. News time. This is the episode. This is the part of the episode where we talk about current news for us.
Right. Current RNA news.
Current RNA music news update. It's like, yeah, so we've been talking about the ZZ Top tribute band thing.
That's right.
For, I don't know, 8 months. Something I've been teasing it on my Instagram and Facebook page, and a little bit, well, on our YouTube too. Like, you've seen me put up a few videos like, oh, it's me trying to figure out this stinking solo by ear, whatever. So we finally had our first official rehearsal with the guys. I'll show you some clips. Right. So we had our first rehearsal, a week ago, this past Saturday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was really fun. It was like the first practice. We didn't really know what to expect, you know, and we all kind of got together. We had trouble getting our schedules to mesh, and then we didn't have a drummer we thought we had a drummer. He fell through. I thought I had a second drummer, which is my student Brianna, which would have been super rad because it's just not a gimmick that you have a girl drummer, but it's like people are like, whoa, what's that, you know? But then she kind of couldn't commit really to it either.
Yeah,
and then,
she's grown up. She's getting her life.
She's getting her life together. She's a young adult.
Not together. She's
not together,
learning
you know.
to do life.
She's doing life, which
Yeah.
is busy. And then, so we're kind of our first, and actually I think the first option was Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
I love it. I just saw it on your Instagram story.
Oh yeah, Angela took a picture. I was like, huh, sweet. Yeah, it's, I look like a 60-year-old Billy.
How old is Billy?
He's like 73? 70?
He's getting up
in his
there.
70s.
He's getting up there.
I'm filming the reaction. So. Say hello. Hey, Chris is playing drums.
I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna attempt.
It's about Chris or Christopher?
Either one.
Either one's fine.
Whatever tickles your fancy.
Whatever makes you happy. And I get mad people call my son Nicholas. They call him Nick. I'm like, I didn't name him Nick.
That's how my mom is.
His name's Nicholas.
Yeah.
Call him Nicholas.
Everyone in my family is, it's sacrilegious to call me Chris. Because my mom's like, no, I named him Christopher. But everyone outside of my family.
Right. That Jopie talked to, but he couldn't do it because of his job. And he super wanted to do it, but his job, he works for the railroad in Texas. Texas Railroad, Fort Worth. How crazy is that? Anyways, his schedule just wouldn't allow it. And he was like, oh, man. And then, but it turns out the other two options, I guess after Chris, they didn't really work out either. And then as the year went on, his work schedule changed. And he's like, hey, we doing this? And I was like, yeah. So once we finally got Chris was able to kind of do it, and then schedules worked. So we finally like, let's just get together. We played about 5 songs, and like, let's just see how it feels. Because we had not yet played together, you know, in a room. And we were all like, that did not suck. That was not horrible. Oh great, it wasn't a complete train wreck. So, and Joseph or Jopie, sunglasses. There you go. It looks like you could be in ZZ Top.
I don't know if I should wear the white ones or the black ones. I've got 3 pair.
I think. Did you go to Dollar Tree?
Yeah, they're $1.50 now.
Oh,
Inflation even hit the
I
sunglasses.
don't know. They have the best cheap sunglasses. I mean, what he does, he gigs for a living, like small circuit in East Texas, you know, area and Dallas, and it's like he gigs for a living, you know, solo acoustic-y stuff, and he plays in some groups, you know. And he was like, I've been to a lot of first rehearsals. That was not terrible. Because sometimes you get together to rehearse with the band that you've never played with before, and it's like, what are we doing?
This is bad.
I've experienced that in the church
All the time.
scene. You show up prepared, and no one else is prepared. You did your homework, and they did not.
It's like they never even heard of music.
So I have experienced that, but that was not how ours went. We were, it all went pretty good. I probably over prepared personally because I felt a lot of pressure to like not suck. And it's like it's a lot of you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot to live up to. You know?
It is. They're legends.
They are legit legends in the music scene. I was over at Dad's today, and his little nursing aide help lady was there. And Dad's like, "Hey, he's been growing out his beard." I was like, "Yeah, Dad, for like 7 years now." He's like, "Oh, he's doing a ZZ Top thing," and the nurse was looking at me. Oh, you do look like a ZZ Top. I was like, yeah, I get that a lot. She's not a musician, but she's like, I grew up listening to ZZ. I love ZZ Top. I'm like, yeah, they're great, So this older lady nurse's aide is like, oh, ZZ Top. So I mean, they're legends just in music industry itself,
for sure.
And then
even if you never listen to them,
yeah,
like
and then
I know who they are.
In the guitar world, like guitarists are just super nerds, right? They're like, Billy Gibbons, man. He's just cool. And it's like, yeah, that's a lot of pressure. It's like being in a Van Halen tribute band, I think. Like, are you gonna pull that off?
Right.
In a different way. So
right.
It was good. And found me a sweet $15 suit from Goodwill. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of research on the tribute band thing, and diving into that tribute band world. It's very interesting. So I am going to have a custom RNA, custom Lollies Loops Billy Gibbons beanie. To authenticate the look. So all right, back to the FAQ. Thank you, Big John. All right, next question. Shane Walton 8888. I like that his is consistently 8888. I think some of the other ones change. I don't know why you have
like that.
numbers after the things. Anyways, Shane Walton from Japan. So we had a UK, Texas, Big John, Japan, Shane Walton. Hashtag Jello for Angela. What brands of amps do you sell?
Cherry.
Question mark. Best overall amp? Question mark. Ooh, okay, very good question, Shane. So here at RNA Music, I basically carry two lines of amps. There's the orange. So we classic orange.
Old dependable.
Old dependable. I appreciate orange amps so much.
Yes.
So we've been orange dealers since, I think since 2010.
Yeah, since we opened.
Since we started. The first two amp lines we took on.
We had them sitting on the floor on the corner.
Was
the side.
Orange amplifiers and Jet City amps. The very first two brands. And then and I loved them both. And Jet City was great. And then as time went on, they made a deal and they were exclusively distributed, I think, with Musician's Friend or somebody like that. They, and so they couldn't have independent dealers anymore, which is like, it's fine.
Right.
And Doug from Jet City's great. We still talk. No hard feelings. I get it.
Right.
But orange has been consistent for us, which is funny because I don't personally own orange, let alone many oranges that would necessitate an entire rack. Nicholas has an orange amp though.
He does.
So we do sell orange. We tend to move a lot of the Crush series, which is their solid state, budget friendly, student level, stuff. Because that's just what we sell. I have had like some terrors, like the tube terrors, not the micro terror. We sell the micro terrors too, but like a full on like tiny terror and like a tiny terror, the dark terror. That stuff took a really long time for us to sell because of where we're at, small town East Texas. The higher end, once you get into any of the tube, even the made in China tiny terrors, were still like $600. And that was a bit hard to swallow for small town folks out here in the country, where the Jet Cities are about half that price.
Right.
So you get a tube amp. Also made, they're both made in China.
Right.
But Jet City was about half the price of the Terror stuff.
Right.
Anyways, we also added Randall. At one point in time, it was Orange, Jet City, and Randall, because we were Washburn dealers, and I had a Randall. I freaking loved it, Randall is not really on the scene anymore. U.S. Music changed hands a couple of times, and Washburn and Randall are kind of like, I don't know, sort of in limbo.
Right. So
that kind of went on the wayside. But Orange has been solid from the beginning, and then 2015, I can't remember if it was 14 or 15, might have been 15. We got hooked up with Devil Cat amps. So Devil Cat out of Statesboro, Georgia. Also owned by Chris Mitchell of Chris Mitchell Guitars, CMG Guitars. So CMG Guitars, Devil Cat, kind of umbrella companies like Fender. Fender makes guitars, Fender makes amps. So we are still Devil Cat dealers and Orange dealers. Devil Cat is another level too. It's a little bit like Orange was because, they're made in the USA and they're boutique American-made amps. And in the realm of boutique American-made amps, I would say they're affordable compared to, it's like a $2,000 half stack versus a $4,000 half stack. So they're not cheap because sourcing materials and labor in America, but they are, more affordable than a Mesa Boogie, a little bit more affordable than Mesa Boogie. And who are the other ones? Splon. Trying to think of what's the American amp companies there, but I was like, oh, it's fancy schmancy, boutique-y. Soldano's like those are not cheap. Anyway, so currently it sits at Orange amps, Old Faithful. They cover the wide range from the budget-friendly, you know, $120 starter amp for a kid, up to multiple $1,000 rocker verbs. So they cover the wide range. And then, of course, we also do have the Devil Cat stuff, which would, you know, you could get a Devil Cat more affordable than you could get a rocker verb. Best amp overall? Does that mean best amp overall that we sell, or just best amp in the world?
Just whatever.
You think? I don't know. It's, for me, it's a tie between my Old Faithful mid 90s, early 90s Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. This thing is a beast. Still has some of the original tubes in it.
Yeah.
And when I had Randall Smith signed it for me, he was like, he was looking at the tubes and he was like, you know we make tubes, right? I'm like, I know. These still work. He's like, well, I wouldn't change them. I was like, okay, play them all the time. So that thing's been super reliable. The 5150 looks great, but it's broken a bunch of times. Like I've had to have it repaired multiple times.
It's too many.
And barely using it. Of course, it's made in Mexico, so you know, whatever. And then my Devil Cat, I have the Devil Cat Jimmy. It's pretty stinking good. And I think in the ZZ Top band, I'm going to be using the Devil Cat Jimmy. Probably aesthetically, it's got like the snakeskin Tolex, and it looks like maybe something Billy would play, I guess. It also sounds super amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the Devil Cat is more versatile than the Mesa Boogie, probably, and so I can use it without. I don't have to drag a giant pedal board with it. So I probably will use it. Probably a tie between those two for me personally. There you go. Great question. Thanks, Shane. And now it's time for a comment of the day.
Yay!
Comment of the day. Comment of the day, yeah. You make the comment, we read.
Comment of the day. We're going to write a song right here on the spot for you guys. I have no idea what I'm going to play. Angela has no idea what she's going to sing. Yeah, we take one of a viewer comment from the last episode. We write a little bitty short diddly song from that.
Sinner's Dwarf 7138. New Year's resolution I won't keep. Stop buying guitars. That's one he won't keep either. That's the comment of the day. The comment of the day.
I like how you added on to his comment. Sinner's Dwarf.
Well, you kept playing, so
well,
I had to do something.
I had to like resolve it. We had to resolve that sucker. Sinner's Dwarf said, New Year's resolution, I won't keep, question mark. Stop buying guitars. Yeah, I've never made that resolution.
No,
I
and he
don't
won't.
think. I probably won't.
That's just lying to yourself. Why do that?
Yeah, why would you even do that? Okay, next question. At Peter Moore 350. Question for Yaz. Have you ever tried a solar... Oh, no. Texas truck. Have you ever tried solar 1.6 guitar and or will you in 24? Cheers from New Zealand.
Love it. He's a hobbit.
He's probably a tall hobbit.
Okay. He's a flobbit.
He's a Numenorian.
Ooh.
That's better. I'd rather be a Numenorian than a hobbit. All right, it says, I don't know if I've tried a 1.6. I have a student, Tristan, that I give lessons to, who has, he loves like Ola, and he loves solar guitars and stuff. And he's got a couple of Jackson guitars, but then this past year, in kind of maybe middle of 2023, he got a Solar 7-string. And he's been bringing it to lessons, and he's writing music on a 7-string. I'm like, oh. Well, let me play that. And of course I tell him, like, oh, hey, you know, I kind of know Ola. He's like, what? I'm like, well, yeah, here's a picture of me and Ola, and we did a video together, and Nam, and he's like, what? I was like, and so I took a picture of Tristan with his 7, and I sent it to Ola, or messaged it to Ola, and he was like, wow, that's awesome. And I showed it to him, and he was like, what? Yeah, just kind of like
cute.
made his day, because Ola's just a sweetheart, you know.
Yeah,
and I get it. You get, when you're become famous, even if it's YouTube famous, yeah, you get messages, and you're probably bombarded with that kind of stuff
all the time. It's exhausting.
Yeah, and I'm always, you know, because most of the people I know who are significantly larger than me on YouTube, I have known for a long time. Robert Baker, Brian Bruce, you know, Rabia, like Ola and stuff, and Angela. You know, the people that I know in the scene, I mean, kind of got acquainted with them back early, you know, 10 years ago when they were significantly smaller.
Right.
And now they're significantly bigger, and I'm marginally bigger. But they're also like pretty cool. And I'm like, so I kind of always just blows my mind sometimes. They're like, oh, hey, Ryan from Art. I'm like, you remembered me. Awesome. Anyways.
So you get where he's coming from.
I do, yeah. And so I got some.
But you got to play it.
Yeah, I got to play Tristan 7. I was like, this is pretty good. Because, you know, some people are like, they're made in Indonesia, Indonesian guitars. And they had a couple of batches of guitars that had some issues with their fretboards. And to my knowledge, they took care of it. I mean, that's the thing. Things happen. How does the company handle it afterwards?
Right.
They take care of you, then great. No problem.
Right.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just normal.
And I almost got some Solars over for Christmas. They had a black, they call it the Black Sabbath sale, I think, because of Black Friday. And they were like, you could buy one, get one free, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Guy,
I remember
buy one guitar from the 1 point series, which is like their premier line.
Right.
They have like a 1.0 series, and then they have a 2.0 series, which is slightly less spec'd out. So buy a 1.0, get a 2.0 for free. And I'm like, I have been eyeballing these for a while. Valhalla. I even went and picked them out, but it's like the ones that I personally really wanted were not part of that sale.
Right.
So I was like, ugh. I even had one in my cart and picked one. I picked another one. I was like, and it still was kind of like, I mean, you were getting a free guitar.
Right.
Basically, but it was still going to be like $1,400, $1,500 ish. It's 2 guitars, so it's like, that's still about $700 per guitar.
Right.
Really, I mean, you buy one get one free. It's like, well, I'm spending $1,400 to get 2 guitars.
Right.
But neither one of them were ones that I really wanted. So it's kind of like I was just getting one to get one, but it wasn't really the one I wanted.
Right.
So I ended up not doing it, and that's actually right at that time is when I ended up getting the. Instead of 2 Solars, I got the Flying V from Adam Lamar from Warefoot, which I was super stoked about because I definitely wanted that V. But Tristan showed up at his next lesson. He walks in. He's this little 12. He's like 12, man, and this kid is ripping. I love him so much, and he's just so into metal, and he's so quiet. He comes in.
He's very serious.
Very
about
serious.
His guitars.
He's serious about guitar,
he
practicing
comes in
playing.
with a mission on his brain.
He reminds me of Brianna.
Yes.
But
He's
on
like,
guitar.
Yes.
He's like a guitar version of her.
Yes.
She
would come into just
she was
like,
10 and she was uber focused on learning Metallica and Dream Theater and like
with her
Avenged
little
Sevenfold.
tutu and Metallica t-shirts.
And boots.
Yes, and boots and combat boots.
Yeah. So, but he kind of reminds me of her. But he comes in and he's just got this case. And all of his guitars have nice hard plastic cases, you know. And he comes in and I'm like, and he opens it up and it's a Solar. And it's the white one. It's like the white T-style they have. And I'm like, what is this, Tristan? And he's like, I was like, did you get? He's like,
So
it's
cute.
like, I was like,
so cute.
can I play it? He's like, yeah. So I was like, I played it. I was like, oh, this is nice.
Future past Ryan here. Quick update. Turns out Tristan has a YouTube channel. I didn't even know it until the day we had a makeup lesson. This is the day after filming ASKRNA. And it turns out he has a YouTube channel. So I'm going to put a link to Tristan's YouTube down below. If you want to, go check out his little YouTube channel. Guys, he's 12. He's on his guitar journey. He's working. He's learning. He's doing a great job, I think. Today we worked on not Cowboys from Hell. We worked on the solo from Walk. He's been working on the guitar solo from Walk. So here's a little clip of our practice sesh today.
That's the hard part.
I was going to ask you, what do you feel like is the trickiest part of that solo?
It's the.
That flurry of notes at the beginning is like, it's pretty fast. There's a lot of notes there. Yeah, nice, great. So you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
This kid's great. He's such a fun student to teach, and he loves music that I love. So it's been really great. Go check out his channel.
Because I was not, having never put your hands on one, you don't know what to expect. I just ordered a guitar this week for the ZZ Top tribute band, and it came in yesterday, and I opened it up, and I was like, it's nice, but it's not exactly what I was expecting, and I'm kind of like, I mean, it would work, but I'm not like super stoked about it. So I'm like, that's one of those ones like I probably should have gone into a big store somewhere and put my hands on it and played it, and then I could have made a better decision. I mean, luckily I can send it back.
Right.
And it has a little crack somewhere in it anyways. I'm like, I don't know about that little, if that's just wood grain or that's a thing. So I have, and it's one of the big uber mega chains that are just like kind of screw smaller stores anyways.
Right.
I don't feel too bad about sending back. But having played 2 different solars now, I'm like, these are nice. I like them. I wasn't loving the pickups in the T style. Like I would change the pickups on it, but it felt good. So I have tried some solars. I bet his 7 might be a 1.0 series, and I think the T style is probably a 2 series. So I've played 1 from each, but I could see myself getting one in the future at some point.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Yeah.
I don't think for the ZZ Top band that would work.
Right. No, probably not.
But yeah.
It's okay.
All right. And news section again.
Yes.
I'm a steal from Ola. He does Adventures with Ola where he goes and does things.
Here we go.
So.
Doodle doodle.
We went to an interesting show last week during the Mega Texas Freeze.
Yeah.
Where it got down to, how cold did it get? It was in the teens.
Teens, like 12.
It got down to 12
felt
degrees.
Like it would have been, but it was like, it felt like 8. It felt like 2.
12 degrees in Texas and snowing. Wind chill factor of,
ridiculous,
3.
Stupid.
So it was super cold.
Angry.
But
Yukon Cornelius.
That's when Zakk Sabbath was playing in Dallas.
And we froze our butts off waiting to get inside.
We froze our booties off, patooties.
Yes.
Booty patooties
Even
off.
in the lobby.
It was cold.
We were cold.
It was cold.
Yes, we were all huddled together. It was like
cold.
a long line of metalheads and a couple ladies and
couple wifey wives.
Couple wifey
couple
wives.
of daughters.
I was not alone, so it was
you
nice.
Weren't the only wifey wife there.
I was not the only, and definitely at the end there was tons of women.
Yeah.
There. So it was nice.
So Zakk Sabbath played at the Granada Theater in Dallas, Texas, and I got tickets a couple weeks before it, and then Angela's like, "I want to go with you." I'm like, "You what now?"
Because I made it a point as his wife to be more involved in, because there was something like snowball chance that I would ever do that. And I was like, he's my husband. This is something that he loves, and I love him, and I don't not like people, metal music. I feel like I don't appreciate it.
Right. But like
it's
with
just
us,
not my
she went to go
cup of tea.
see Les Mis in Dallas with her and with your cousins. It's not like you went by yourself.
No, I went.
But like she'll
Danielle.
go do things that's not necessarily my cup of tea. I'm like, yeah, great, awesome, go have fun, And I'll go to rock shows or metal shows, and like she just like, I don't really like that's fine, I'll go, And so like we don't pressure each other into like, I really want you to come with me to this thing. I know you don't like staring at guitars for 7 hours straight, but please come with me. We don't really.
No.
And you don't like, hey, I want to go see this musical. Take me to it.
Right.
Like,
Force you to sit.
Yeah,
there
you're like,
and
I'm gonna go see this thing. I'm like, oh, cool.
I think you would have liked Les Mis.
Well, probably that version.
Right. Yeah, not
The-
the high
the-
school version.
The high school version we sat through one time that I did go to.
Yes.
It was like,
yeah, where Lucas was like the only like
he
shining
had
star in
one
the whole
kid
that
on the
actually
entire
had
cast
talent.
who could like
So holding
bring
them.
it. It was like,
And the rest was it was brutal.
which I'm
But
sure how you feel with me going to metal shows. You're like,
I do. I really honestly do.
And
I honestly felt the same way at the same performance.
okay,
So don't feel bad.
right.
But that was different. Okay, so get back to Zakk Sabbath.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so the point is, you went with me because
Yes, I did.
apparently this past year you made a conscious choice to like, I'm gonna go do more stuff with Ryan.
Yes.
Not that
Because I love spending time with you.
Not that we don't do things.
And I
together.
like experiencing something fun. I love
Yeah.
watching you do what you love.
Yes, so I got to take it for Angela, and then of course
Mm-hmm.
our son Aiden, Zakk.
Mhm.
How did that come up that he wanted to go? Did you mention it to him or?
Well, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if the boys came with us, considering our youngest is named after Zakk Wylde? Like, literally.
His middle name.
Not ironically.
Oh yeah.
It's the same spelling. We thought, why is it the same spelling? Because Ryan loves Zakk Wylde, and especially at that time when Aiden was born,
It was like 05.
Yes, it was just like Black Label Society. Everything was big, 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 big. And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool to even, in my mind, I thought just to get a picture like Aiden's in the crowd and Zakk's behind him and get like this kind of
Yeah.
picture like this facing so they can have both Zakk's in the photo
Two
because,
Zacks.
you know, and I presented it to the boys. Of course, Nicholas, our oldest, was like, no, that's okay.
Which
I
is
don't
funny.
I don't want to do that.
Because Nicholas has actually gone with me to several rock shows.
Yes, Nicholas is he's a soft metal head.
Yes.
Soft metal. And
He loves Alter Bridge.
But Aiden is not. Aiden is our classical music,
Classical music.
instrumental.
Mhm.
He doesn't like
Video
the
game
vocalist.
soundtracks.
Yes, he's very
like Final Fantasy, Zelda.
He's
stuff.
like Pat. Pat David is like that's his type of music. He even liked Pat David's CD. Like that's his realm. So I thought, but Aiden was like, yeah, I'd like to go. I've never done anything like that before. And he wanted, because he had never experienced anything like that, because Nicholas had.
He wanted to try it for the experience.
Yeah, Nicholas is our all-in kid, where Aiden's like, is there people? Never
How
mind.
many people are going to be there?
Yes, exactly. Will they touch me? Yeah. So.
Yes. And turns out we ended up, I'm not going to explain how, but we ended up with VIP tickets status.
Mm-hmm.
And which I had never done. I had actually never done a VIP meet and greet thing.
Mhm.
I've been backstage at big shows like Megadeth.
Yeah, you've had
and stuff.
appointment of.
I
people,
have been backstage.
Yes.
And I have met,
big name
some
guys.
people, big name guys, but not because I wrote a check and there's a VIP and you come in with a badge and do the thing. It's because I knew people in the crew that I was
Right.
friends with, and they're like,
Right.
"Dude, yeah, come on, come backstage." And like they gave me VIP stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd never been like, you walk the thing and you meet the band and there's this table and they sign stuff. I'd
Right.
never actually done that.
Yeah, so we got to experience that.
So we got to experience that, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I wasn't sure. And I had my Epiphone Zakk Wylde camouflage guitar over there. Took it with me because I thought it would be super rad to have that signed. Because I have a guitar.
And lots of people had their guitars.
Yeah, I had a guitar signed by Mark Tremonti when we did a thing with Alter Bridge on your birthday.
On my birthday. Still
I
waiting
have
for that
a
makeup date. Mhm.
yes, Nick Johnston, who's not a mega huge,
But
Mark
to
Tremonti.
you really respected.
Yes,
like
and
his
he's
music.
phenomenal. And I had Nick Johnston signed one of my Schecters, and which is cool because he's just cool.
Mhm.
And, very humble for someone who's also like Jeff Loomis, like
Spectacularly
so
talented.
amazing, like
Right.
so technically amazingly better than everyone else.
Mhm.
If you're gonna be a douchebag, it'd be okay because you're amazing.
Right.
But he's not. He's super humble and very nice and
Right.
kind and generous. So.
And so is Zakk.
And so is Zakk, which is what you kind of always hear and heard, but we're walking through the line, and I knew they do a big photo op with, because if you're on the Zakk Sabbath Instagram or Facebook page or Zakk's Instagram, Facebook, you always see it's like, hey, it's him in the Dallas chapter of Black Label Society or the whatever, and it's a picture of all the VIPs with the band, and that's what I was expecting. And then they have a little autograph table, but we walk in like, no. Every single VIP that came through there got an individual picture with Zakk and the band. one at a time, and then they did the big group photo, and then they had the signing table where you could talk. Many people had. There's a guy in front of me who has a bunch of guitars, but he has like 7 or 8 Wylde audio guitars, and he brought 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Zakk signed both of them, and you know, had a bunch of guys there had some Dean like Dimebag guitars. One guy had a Dean guitar, Dimebag guitar that had Dimebag's signature on it on the headstock. I was looking at it. There's the guy there with his little daughter, and I was like, "That's a Dimebag signature on the back of that Dime guitar." And now he's gonna have Zakk sign. I was like, "Oh, super nerdy. I love it. It's so great." So I'm sure Zakk loved that. But you walk through the line. And at the end, it was kind of funny because the guys were standing on the backdrop, the drummer and the bass player, Goose, JD, and what's his name? Castillo, the drummer. They were like sitting there, and Zakk would like come up to the next person, like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, give you a big hug, and she'd come on over, and like, "This is the guy, this is the drummer, and this is that." All right, let's take a picture.
Like he was the PR guy.
Like he was the guy.
Like he was acting like he was the road manager of his own
Right.
band, but it was like you were coming over to his house and you were meeting his family.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That's what
like,
it was like.
It wasn't like a crew person going, "Okay, come here, walk you over to Zakk." It was Zakk coming
himself.
to them.
Yeah, it reminded me of like you just walked into his house and he's just like, "Hey, come back. We're out in the backyard eating some, barbecue and just hanging out with some beers." And he was like greeting you at the door and then coming and introducing you to his family. That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
it was really neat.
And we were like the last ones in line.
Yeah, and Aiden was like, "I don't know what to do with this information."
Right.
He was just so kind of like,
Aiden's not a hugger.
no, and you could tell he leaned into his hug, but he was like, "Are you want to like hug?" Like it was really awkward, and he was like, "I don't know what to do with this," because
We're standing there in line. I'm holding my guitar, and like the guys in front of me, and I'm watching him. Like, I'm like, "Oh, he's very friendly."
yeah,
I'm like, I got emotional for a second. I was like, "Holy crap, this is
Yeah.
I've seen him live before. I've been like right there, like right next to the stage at the same theater, and I'm like, "That's pretty Zakk, wow." But never like, "Hey, how you doing?" Shook his hand, whatever, that kind of a thing. And I'm like, and he goes, "Hey," he grabs my guitar, his guitar.
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, cool," and he's like, "Oh, come on over," and I was, he gave me a hug, and I was like,
I know.
And he leans into, like,
now,
hug,
like
and
I know. Whenever of
I wish
course
you would've- I
Ryan
wish
took
you would've
off without us,
filmed
and I
that.
turned around and I was like, "We're with him," because the guy like really like the bouncer basically
Yeah,
he was
they- I mean,
taking
they had
pictures.
guys
There
who
was
were like-
security, and he was very serious. I was like, "We're actually all together." I know my husband's like a kid in a candy store, and it was Ryan's like, "This is my wife." Oh
my
yeah,
wife.
this is my wife and son.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, we're all together," and we go up and everything, and I was
Took a
and
picture.
I made sure Ryan and Aiden were in the middle, and I got on the outside next to
You're next
the
to
drummer.
Aiden. Mhm.
Yeah, and then
So I was standing next to Zachary.
yes.
I was like, so we're sitting there talking, and I talked to him for a second. I was like, "Hey, you
And
know what?"
Aiden had a slight smile, so that was nice. He still was a little he was overstimulated for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was like extremely surreal.
Mhm.
Like for me, it was just like, because as a young dude in the 90s, like 89 was when I started playing guitar. When I was a teenager, like 13, 14, 15 years old, and you're just like, it's a wildly impressionable teenager. Like I had a poster of Zakk on my wall when I was a kid. So it was like Zakk and Dimebag and Slash and James Hetfield and
It would be like me meeting New Kids on the Block.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
It's like that.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, this is Jordan.
Yeah, so it was super rad. Then after that, they took us down for the big photo. Of course, if you had a guitar, like, "Oh, if you have a guitar, sit on the front." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Of course, you shuffled over. I was like,
yeah. I was like, no, we're good, because Aiden was like, I don't want to be in the front,
Aiden's-
and then we were both like, we're not kneeling. I'm not kneeling nothing. I'm just like,
Right.
I am not going to be able to get back up. So we
Aiden's
stood in
super
the back.
tall anyways.
Yeah, and so we stood in the back, and then we asked people, and we're like, "Do you want to get in front of us?" Because I realized I'm really tall in my heels, and Aiden's really tall, so they were like, "No, we're good. We'll just peek our head around him."
I haven't
was
seen
like,
the group
"Okay."
photo from Dallas yet, like on any of the social media. So I'm like waiting to see it. But and then after that, they did the line to have them sign stuff. So they signed whatever you wanted signed. They signed it, and it was Zakk signed signed the headstock, and I was just like,
Yeah,
so excited.
I was glad to get a photo of that.
Yeah, and then the concert started, and then the opening band
Yes.
was the Native Howl.
The Native Howl.
What'd you
Yes.
think of them?
I like them a lot. Yeah, there's a couple songs that was just like, that was okay. But for the most part, it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I didn't know. I was like, they got banjos. What's going on here?
I know. I thought it was just a roadie tuning for Zakk's band,
Right.
and I didn't realize it was actually the banjo player for the Night Howl. So it was really cool.
Yeah, they were really good. They came on, and it was like a mixture. They call it ThrashGrass.
Yeah.
Like mixing thrash metal and bluegrass together. It was like. This is cool. And I looked over and she's like, she enjoyed it. So she likes banjos. And they were just doing the thing. Like, they did a really good job.
They're very entertaining.
They were very
They had a good stage presence. So
They
did
were-
Zakk and them. So that
they
was
really did.
help. Yeah.
So the opening band was great. And then afterwards, they're at their booth because they're not like, massively huge.
Right.
But they were there at their own, manning their own merch booth, and you get to talk to them after a little bit.
Yeah,
And I
that
talked
was
to them for a
fun.
minute. I was like, you guys are great. I love that. And, and then Zakk Sabbath came on. It was like, all right. It was good. So, they played all Black Sabbath songs. It's kind of funny because, like, I'm doing this ZZ Top tribute band. Zakk has a tribute band. It's interesting because it's Zakk Sabbath. It's not... You look like you're watching Black Sabbath play. Like, you're watching Zakk Wylde play Black Sabbath songs. So it's kind of a weird hybrid tribute band. It's not just your average Black Sabbath tribute band. It's friggin' Zakk Wylde. And
Like
he took
Black
some...
Label Sabbath.
Yeah, it's Black Label Sabbath Society. And and he took some liberties with the guitar solos.
Yes.
Like he
They were extreme.
They were were they extensive?
They were extensive. That's where I signed out mentally, and Aiden even said, I looked over at you and you were like, just staring down at the ground. I was like, yeah, I had to go to my happy place a couple of times and think about the Whataburger I was going to be eating afterwards. But I can appreciate the amount of talent that he could just nail it every single time and just be right into character.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some extensive solos on almost every song. Like almost like a jam
for
band.
like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and and you know, of an audience of what's probably a lot of guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
That's your audience. You're like, oh wow, he did like behind the head and the thing, and got up on the thing. Up
yeah,
on
I got a lot of
platform.
good pictures.
You got some great photos.
Yeah.
I will have been splashing photos up.
Awesome.
During this and videos.
Okay, good.
But it was a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking freezing cold. And then we drove home, and now I have, it's kind of silly because the guitar I have that I have Tremonti's signature on is not a Tremonti.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was, because the guitar he signed is not a guitar I ever play or look at anymore.
Mm. Which you'll have to keep forever.
I know, but I do have a Tremonti guitar now, so that if they ever do come through again, I'm like, all right.
I guess we're going.
I'm freaking taking this, and we're gonna get the VIP package and all that sort of stuff.
It's like, you remember us?
Yeah, but now, I legit have an actual Zakk Wylde signature guitar that actually his signature.
Right.
On.
That's special.
So that's kind of cool, and it was a really good night. That was a pretty amazing adventures with ASKRNA music and Zakk Wylde. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I can say this: next time, if Black Label Society comes through or Sabbath comes through, and you have an opportunity to go check out, it's usually it was ZackSabbath.vip. Mm-hmm. Or I think you go ZakkWylde.vip. You can go in and figure out what the VIP packages are. 100% worth it. Mm-hmm. The most affordable package was $100. There was a $100 package. There was a $200 package, and then there was a $2,500 package where you actually got one of the guitars that he played on stage. I thought he would probably he might play the guitar for one song, and that's the one. No. The guitars, I think there were only 2 guitars in the VIP package. Mm-hmm. He played those 2 guitars pretty much the whole stinking night. I was like, okay, that's really cool. Versus yeah, I played it for half a song. Here you go. Thanks
we
for
going over to that person's house. They're like, it looks a little dusty. Oh, no, that's Zakk Wylde DNA from Skinflex from his and drops of sweats.
Yeah.
Because he was flinging sweat the whole
dripping sweat.
Yeah.
So the guitar is part of that. Now that was not in the budget.
Mhm.
Of course, those are already sold out.
Ew.
But the lower tier, the lowest tier of the VIP package, I thought, bro, that's totally worth it.
Mhm.
Because you can go to like Comic-Con and get your picture with, Captain Kirk or somebody. That's
Yeah.
way more money than that.
Right. Which, if you do that soon, because he probably won't be around. for
Captain
very
Kirk.
long. Yeah, he's like 80
Yeah.
years old now.
Yeah, so it was extremely worth it in my opinion. So I'm like, all right, next time they come through, if it's Black Label, whatever happens, they come through Dallas. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that VIP thing again.
Mhm.
Super worth it. And the tickets themselves for the show weren't
Right.
crazy. So
Right.
Anyways, that was our Zakk Wylde adventure. Yay! Final question. Final question. AskRNA. Civinity 2677. My question would be, what instruments have y'all played
Ooh.
in total?
Hmm.
What instruments have you played, Angela?
Flute. Let's
Mhm.
just go from the beginning.
Is that the first one?
Probably. Maybe.
Technically?
Technically, yeah.
I mean, you sang before you played flute.
Right. So flute. I guess just because it just jumps. Because I'm mostly a vocalist, so I'm not. Don't do a lot of instrument. I've played a mandolin. I have played. I owned one for like a hot second until we sold it. Ukulele, guitar, piano ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
What's your favorite singing house?
Guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I love being able to play music and it not be my voice. I think that's really cool. I like playing something and someone else sings. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been practicing my piano. Yeah. But the mechanics of that haven't clicked in my brain as much as guitar for some reason clicks more in my brain
Well, you can.
than piano does.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, I can read it, but that clicks more. So
Yeah, in a way, guitar is easier, but in a way, it's also harder. I think physically, guitar is harder.
yeah.
With the fine motor skills and your non-dominant hand doing all the fretting and stuff. Playing piano is just pushing buttons.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I was proud of myself. We have a few books from my uncle who gave us a piano and had a bunch of his school books from like the 60s in it.
I say 50s, 60s.
Yeah, 60s in it. And one of them is a music book of Elvis, like a Elvis sheet music. It has the vocal line and the piano line. And I went to Jailhouse Rock. And I was like, because I know the melody enough. So if I'm playing it, I can actually like, oh, that wasn't right. And figure it out. And I was like, I did pretty good reading the music. And it was a bunch of like 16th notes.
Oh,
It's like
piano is great for like, I mean, if you're gonna play piano, you legit have to learn how to read real music.
Right.
Like a
It makes
real
sense.
musician.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who play piano by ear, but it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of expected with pianos. Yet you learn to read sheet music.
Right.
Guitar, for pop music, which meaning country, rock, pop, gospel, jazz, whatever. It's like they're not really reading sheet music.
Yeah.
It's
A lot of them are just
more
listening to
by
it.
ear and by feel and intuitive and stuff. So
Which is cool if you could do that, but I think it's more impressive if you can put any music in front of you and they're like, oh, what are you playing? Or what key do you like to sing in? And they know the mechanics of it and they can just
I always think of it as like someone put a book in front of you. Could you read it? Oh, yeah. It's like you don't have to practice it first. No, you're just reading.
I'm reading, just like I would read
Just
a book if you gave me a book.
Right. Some people can play music like that. You just put it in front of them and they're like, how did you do that? I was like, I just read it.
Right. I get it.
I mean, it's like knowing how
My
to
fingers
read.
can only go so many places and you know where it is versus where it is on the staff. So it just, that part, it's starting to click for me. Okay, you go.
Okay. It's gonna be a long list. So
With the first basics.
one was piano. Piano lessons as a kid. Next was drums. School 6th grade school band drums. Next was guitar. And following closely guitar, bass, because if you can play there's a lot of similarities. Bass.
Then you get to college.
Then I got to college, and then I had to learn everything. right? So I had to be a band director,
Like
I had to
a few
learn the
semesters
basics of trumpet, high brass, trumpet, high winds like flute, clarinet, saxophone.
Yeah.
It was low brass, so like trombone, baritone, tuba, double reeds like oboe, bassoon. Actually, I had to play the freaking oboe and the bassoon enough to like.
Yeah,
You know,
I could do that actually. I have played the clarinet.
Yeah.
I have.
clarinet.
My best friend played the clarinet. Ginger played the clarinet.
I actually enjoyed the saxophone and clarinet stuff. I was like, that's actually pretty fun, you know, because I'm used to, you know, flute. I thought was super easy. Of all of them, I thought flute was the easiest.
Right. It is. It really is. It's just that you just have to have a certain embouchure, and then you just, as soon as you do that, you just blow.
Angles and you go, right? Trumpet, I actually kind of enjoyed trumpet. I actually would go practice trumpet on purpose to like, because my brother-in-law was a trumpet player, and I was like, hey, can I borrow your old trumpet? He's like, yeah. So I actually had my own trumpet to kind of play with while I was a music major.
Yeah.
Viola, had a semester of, you know, strings in college. So I had for
Some schools have
one
orchestras.
semester, I had to like,
Not in East Texas.
yeah. But in Texas, as the band director, they might fire the orchestra guy, and as the band director, you may have to go teach the orchestra for a year until they find a new orchestra person.
Right.
So you need to know the basic mechanics of strings playing. Viola was hard. I thought it'd be easy. Like, bro, I've been playing guitar forever. This would be easy. It's like, no, because it's like
different.
it's the opposite. All my muscle memory from guitar did not translate to the viola. It made it worse because I was fighting my natural guitar instincts. Just like a trumpet player usually sucks at saxophone because your embouchure on trumpet, having programmed it for at least 8 years of your life, and then to try to do something different.
Going from this to biting down and
yeah, which I think like for all of us percussionists who were percussion majors, really, when they said, all right, do this with your mouth, we're like, okay. Like we could all do it pretty well because we didn't have years and years of embouchure muscle memory embouchure for a specific instrument. So for us, we're like, do this with your mouth. Like, okay, and we could just do it.
Yeah.
So in a way, it was easier for all of the drummers to learn the other instruments.
yeah, Miss Downing, she used to tell us to she was like, put your flute in your lap, and she was like, put your finger to your lip, like right there, and then blow down.
Yeah.
And she's like, if you can feel your air, you're doing it right.
We had a little thing that
I
they
can
gave
feel
us.
my
They
air.
had a little thing with this. There's like a wooden dowel rod and then like a little fan. And if you're blowing the right angle, the fan would spin.
Nice.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
She would always have, and Miss Downing always wore red lipstick. So she was like, let me get your flute. And then she'd have like red lipstick, and she's like, oh, and she'd just rub it off on her shirt and hand it to you. You're like,
Yes.
thanks, Miss Downing.
So all the band instruments I had to learn in college. I had like, you know, enough to be a band director in the state of Texas to teach kids how to play those instruments, right? Doesn't mean if you handed me a trumpet today, I probably couldn't play it very well, but
Right.
I had to learn the essential mechanics of all of it. Lots of piano in college, like 5 years of piano in college. So I actually did do a fair bit of piano. I wouldn't call myself an amazing pianist, but like, you know, I certainly can teach kids. I have yet to have a kid progress far enough in their piano lessons to like do something that I cannot do.
Right.
Although I got a couple who are doing pretty good, but it's like, it takes them a week to learn. It's like, I could probably learn that in like an hour or
So
two.
does timpani and
all the percussion
xylophone
instruments.
and, okay.
I guess that counts. Those are all
Marimba.
instruments. Marimba, xylophone, freaking vibes. I hate the vibes. You'd think they're the same. They're like mallet instruments, but they're not. The way you play vibes is not the same way you play xylophone. Benny Goodman stuff or whatever. You know, and different grips and techniques for vibes and 4-mallet marimba and timpani and like all of the orchestral percussion instruments. Yes. Chimes, all the drum stuff. Drum line, snare, tenor, bass, crack, like all this stuff. It's a lot. It's a significant amount of instruments. So it was just funny because I think it helps me teach, because I had my student Dean, we were talking about guitar stuff, right? I'm like, listen, Dean, so your strum pattern of your right hand, let me go play the drum part to this. So I played the drum part. It's like a Green Day song or something like that.
Easy.
And I was like, listen, here's what the drum's doing. You know, I was like, the bass, listen to the bass drum, Dean. That's where your hand is supposed to go. When that bass drum kicks, you are strumming. He's like, oh, it's like the drums just aren't there for funsies. It's like anything he's doing, your right hand should
This
be
is for
lining up.
funsies. This down here is to keep time.
Yes, like what your right hand, your strumming hand is doing is going to be 100% synced up with something he or she is over there doing.
Same with the bass.
So if you're kind of lost, it's like, listen to the drums. And he was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, now, so I can make these connections for students, like between how to play a piano player and think like a guitarist. So you can play without having to read sheet music. And then like guitar players like who struggle with rhythm, I was like, let me tell you about drums. And so I think being a multi-instrumentalist for sure helps me be a better teacher.
Yeah, which reminds me, I need to have one of my students' parents download a metronome app for them.
Metronome.
Because he is having issues.
Metronome. Oh man, rhythm. I mean, everybody struggles with. I think it's interesting because everybody struggles with rhythm.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I think my rhythm's pretty good, but it's because I was really a drummer I played piano first.
Yeah.
But I was a kid. But then drums was the first one that I really.
Yeah, and I think dance helped me with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Being able to
how much did you count in
and
dance?
That's all it is counting.
It's all counting.
That's all it is.
You count and you move.
Right. You move to the count. You have to be in sync with it.
You're not feeling it, you're counting.
Yeah, exactly. Even when it looks like they're feeling it, they're counting.
100%. That's what I tell my drum students. Like, you got 2 jobs. You count and you hit things. That's it.
That's it.
That's legit. Now, you're supposed to hit
the most
things.
important thing
You're supposed to hit
you
things
count.
on the right counts. If you're not counting and you're just hitting things, you're not a drummer. You're not doing your job. You think you are, but you're not.
a monkey.
So like dance, the same way as like you count and then you move.
Yes.
You know, you do the right move when the right counts, but it's counting and moving.
That's what I was telling my little guitar student who's a ballerina. I was like, 5, 6, 7, 8. She was like, yeah. It's like, this is 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
I was like, you know how some dance moves are like 1, 2. That's just the whole move. 1, 2. I said that right there, that half note is 1, 2.
1, 2. Half note. Half note.
I was like, and you don't go to the next one until you finish that move.
Yep.
Oh. Gotcha. Okay.
See, that's great because you have dance experience. And so you can communicate that to a young person who's been in dance.
Yeah.
And you can translate that. This is how this applies to music.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, could you dance without music?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point is dancing.
And if it's in 4/4
music.
time, I mean, even 1, 2, 3, because 1, 2, 3 is a waltz.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Count.
Sweet.
That was a great question. I think we're just making up for our weeks of not having ASKRNA.
We miss you guys. We're
we
just
got an
chatty Cathy's
ultra
today.
extra long. And we had a couple of
Yeah, I'm surprised no one's come in.
couple of segments. I know, like yesterday it was all day, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom,
ting, 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 constant.
nonstop. All right, so thank you guys so much for catching up with us. If you have a
Yes.
question for next week, please type it down below in the comment section of this video. Ask a question, we'll try to answer it.
We'll try.
Don't forget about comment of the day song.
But a friend.
And now this ultra legend
Yes.
time. If you watch this entire hour-and-a-half long video from start to finish, it's okay if you take a break. Like if you took a break in the middle of this and you came back to it. But if you watched the whole video, it's time for secret hashtag of the day. I think it has to be hashtag Zakk Sabbath. We're on the same page. Zakk Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Type that below. Hashtag Zakk Sabbath with your comment, and we'll know, and everyone else who is super cool will know that you are part of an elite group of ASKRNA viewers. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep the music alive.
Don't forget it.
The music needs you.
And you need the music.
And we need to keep it alive for the next generation.
That's right.